Ancient American giant skeletons found to be at least 12 feet tall. A 1917 article, New Smyrna Daily News, January 5th, 1917. Men grew 12 feet tall. Smyrna Daily News, January 5th, 1917. That human beings inhabited the North American continent more than 125,000 years ago has been conclusively proven through a recent discovery in this state by E. H. Sellards, state geologist, and Professor Oliver P. Hay, who have made a study of the fossil. Though their opinions are not fully concurring by other scientists, they are positive that their researches have been thorough and there is no room for a mistake. The discovery was made several months ago, and though nothing of a definite nature had been given out until recently, it is now officially stated that human bones intermingled with those of the mastodon, saber-toothed tiger, and many other extinct animals that formerly ranged this hemisphere have been found. The deposit was found near Vero. That the human beings were of enormous size is evidenced by the bones. It is thought that some were 10 or 12 feet in height. Some excellent specimens of the skeletons of these gigantic men have been found, some of them locked in the deadly embrace of great animals, with strange weapons of bone clutched in skeleton hands and foot. Greater Ancestors World Museum Posters Album, poster images created by Chris Leslie, high-resolution poster of Veroman available at the museum, the original location for that image on Facebook. The several mound skeletons said to have been 12 feet tall. 12 feet is about the limit, they say. The following images comes from a similar posting about Etowah mounds in Georgia to demonstrate just how large 12-foot humans would be. Ancient giant skeletons of this size have been found in every single state of the United States. This example of the Etowah Indian mounds, 12 feet height. The Etowah Indian mounds are a 54-acre archaeological site in Bartow County, Georgia, south of Cartersville, in the United States, of course, built and occupied in 3 phases. Prehistoric site located on both north shore of the Etowah River. Etowah Indian mounds are historic site and are designated National Historic Landmarks managed by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. It is the most intact Mississippi culture in the southeastern United States. And in one of my videos I posted yesterday concerning the Grand Canyon giants and ancient Egyptian pyramids, they are to be found all along the coasts of the Mississippi River. The history concerning the Etowah Indian mounds. 19th century, European American settlers mistakenly believed that these mounds had been built by the Cherokee, who then occupied the region. However, the Iroquoian-speaking tribe did not reach this part of Georgia until the late 18th century and could not have built these mounds. Late 20th century studies showed the mounds were built and occupied by prehistoric indigenous peoples of the South Appalachian Mississippi culture, a regional variation of the Mississippi culture of eastern North America. They were ancestors of the historic Muskogean language-speaking Muskogee Creek people, who later emerged in the area. Etowah is a Muskogee word derived from Italwa, meaning town. The federally recognized Muskogee Creek Nation and Porch Band of Creek Indians consider Etowah to be their most important ancestral town. From 1000 to 1550 AD, Etowah was occupied by a series of cycling chiefdoms over the course of 5.5 centuries. Tykyon Wilkes used changes in ceramic styles across multiple sites of the Etowah River Valley to determine the timelines for this area. The ceramics found at Etowah and other regional sites have been reconstructed and allow Etowah to be placed into various sequences. The town was occupied, as was said, in three distinct archaeological phases between 1000 to 1400 AD. Etowah has three main platform mounds. They are burial mounds. Temple Mound A is 63 feet or 19 meters in height, taller than a 6-story building, and covers 3 acres at its base. In 2005 and 2008, ground mapping with magnetometers revealed new information and data showing that the site was much more complex than had previously been believed. Well, a lot of these mound areas are covered with silt and soil and overgrowth of vegetation, so they don't know the exact design of what was around these mounds. A study team has defined a total of 140 buildings on the site. In addition, Mound A was found to have 4 major structures and a courtyard in the height of the community power. Mound B is 25 feet high, or 7.5 meters high. Mound C, which rises 10 feet high, that's 3 meters, is the only one to have been completely excavated. Magnetometers enabled archaeologists to determine the location of temples of log and thatch, which were originally built on top of the mounds. Adjacent to the mounds is a raised ceremonial plaza, which was used for ceremonies, stickball, chunky games, and as a bazaar for trading goods. When visiting the Etowah mounds, guests can view the burrow pits, which archaeologists at one time thought were moats, which were dug out to create the 3 large mounds in the center of the park. They have found artifacts. One artifact is the Rogan plate. Department of Anthropology. Smithsonian has this. The Reposé copper plate falcon dancer, found at Etowah, but believed to have been fabricated at Cahokia in the 13th century. Artifacts discovered in these burials within the Etowah site indicate that its residents developed an artistically and technically advanced culture. Numerous copper tools and weapons and ornamental copper plates accompanied the burials of members of the Etowah elite class, where proximity to copper protected the fibers from degeneration. Archaeologists also found brightly colored cloth with ornate patterns. These were remnants of the clothing of these social elites who were buried there. Numerous clay figurines and 10 Mississippi stone statues were found through the years in the vicinity of Etowah. Many are paired statues which portray a man sitting cross-legged and a woman kneeling. The female figure wears wraparound skirts, and males are usually portrayed without visible clothing, although both usually have elaborate hairstyles. The pair are thought to represent lineal ancestors. Individual statues of young women also show them kneeling, but with additional characteristics such as visible sex organs, which are not visible on the paired statues. Female figure is thought to represent fertility or Mother Earth, goddess. The birdman, hand in eye, solar cross, and other symbols associated with the southeastern ceremonial complex appear in many artifacts found at Etowah. This is a model of Etowah, the city at its height. And you can see a number of pyramids, a central pyramid, the huge one, burial mounds, and smaller and larger. This is where the giant skeletons were found. And such mounds are, of course, found in every single state of the United States, as well as Canada, as well as Mexico, as well as South America. And I, who am now living in Greece, have found such mounds in Thebes, which is about an hour from Athens. let me show you how that looks. It's just like this one, but it's a pyramid structure. Okay, this is one of the pyramids of Thebes, Greece. This is the Cadmeus pyramid, and this is the Amphios pyramid. And coming up is another image of the bared from the soil area. You can see the stonework underneath. This is megalithic work. Now the thing is that you have some overgrowth of pine trees. Pine trees don't need a very deep root. And there is not that much growth of trees on this, and these are ancient sites. When driving around this, I found that it was very strange that it was cut into levels. It was not a regular hill, because you saw 3 or 4 levels, and each level was half the size of the level below it. And that can only be a construction. And when I researched it, yes, I found that Thebes, ancient Thebes of Greece, was in fact pyramids, and there are bodies underneath this pyramid of Cadmeus and Amphios. The people that first established Thebes, and it's said that from Thebes they went to Thebes of Egypt and built pyramids there. So we have pyramids all over the world. We have giant skeletons all over the world, found in these pyramids, around these pyramids, in the pre-flood ancient civilizations all over the world. But this video signifies what has been found in the United States, because archaeology and ancient American history is still something that has not really fledged in the United States, and hopefully it will, even though a lot of these areas are in parklands, national parklands, and it's difficult to go and excavate unless you have certain permissions and people watching what you're doing. I'll leave links below for you for this.